We've had a big influx of people watching and listening to all the things I make, so as a result, I noticed a particular type of comment influenced this particular ASMR tutorial. Is that what we're going to call it? That's what we're going to call it. So, a lot of people that listen and watch my stuff happen to be people early in transition. So as a result, we're going to make a small, relaxing tutorial on how to start transition as broadly as possible. There are all sorts of ways to start transition. There's no wrong way, there's no right way, it's just your way. So take whatever you want from this video and ignore whatever you want to ignore. And that's okay. Okay? If you're unsure if you're trans, I have a couple of other video/audio tracks about that. So I hope that helps. As for the reasons such a guide is presented in an ASMR format, well, that will hopefully make it more relaxing. And it'll be nice and slow, so it won't be as overwhelming as other tutorials. I know it can be daunting, I've been there. You'd watch all these videos of fully transitioned trans women that look so pretty, and it can be overwhelming to be like, can I be like that? And the thing with that is transition's kind of slow. We're kind of being a little tortoise. A turtle? Is tortoise how you say that anyway? When we transition, we're gradually moving towards our goals. Okay? So I guess my first tip is it's okay if you go slow. Go at the pace you want to go at. Okay? Not at the pace someone says, not at the pace someone tells you not to. Just at the pace that you want to. Okay? Okay. Now, first off, if you've made it this far, obviously, you're allowed to transition if you want to. I think that's the first step in transition, allowing yourself to do it. It can be easy to compare ourselves to people we see on the internet. I mean, there's a bit of a skewed demographic on the internet, because if someone's like a trans influencer, right, they feel comfortable to show their entire transition publicly on the internet. So understand that just because those influencers and content creators act a certain way or present a certain way doesn't mean you have to be like them. You can just be yourself. That's all it has to be. Okay? Okay. You don't have to be an Instagram beauty guru. You don't have to be a catgirl redditor. You don't have to be whatever stereotype you may have come across. What matters is you do what makes you happy. Okay? So, as far as actual direct tips, if you will, I'd like to take you back to when I first realized. Now, I understand that I figured it out very early. Everyone figures it out at different paces. It doesn't make someone better or worse. Okay? We're all people. Now that's out of the way, I'm going to take you back to the year 2012. Scary. That was a decade ago. Crazy. So at this point, I've been dressing up in girls' clothes secretly in the bathroom for years. Watching every boy to girl makeup tutorial possible. I was a really big fan of I think it was like Church Half 22 in particular. Though I think they deleted their channel. So Um, if you're somehow listening to this, thank you for saving my life. Anyway, um, I'd like to meet them one day. I don't think it'll happen though, and I respect that. So, when I realized I wanted to tell people, I was pretty nervous. For context, this is the start of high school for me. I was a nervous 12-year-old. And at this stage of my life, I had a girlfriend too. So that obviously made people a little less receptive to the news, I guess. My advice is, at least how I did it, it just starts with telling one person. Just one person. Now, I didn't know the word for it yet, but making sure one person knows the pronouns that feel right for you is important. I didn't know that term. I think I referred to it as like getting people to refer to me as girl. I guess that worked in that time. So you gotta pick one person. It's gotta be someone you trust, okay? It doesn't have to be someone you don't trust. And it's okay if right now there isn't anyone you can trust. My tip would then become to find someone you trust. That's important, I think. Once you find that, well, you can then talk to someone. I know listening to people on the internet is one thing, but having a friend that understands what you're going through will mean the world to you, more than you would know. Okay? However, make sure it's someone you trust. The person I told ended up being a TERF a couple of years later, so be careful of that. I should have seen the signs. Yeah. Oh well. You live and you learn and all that. So, you've now told someone. Now what? Well, if the person you told happened to either be a girl or someone experienced with feminine presentation, see if they have anything that you can borrow. If they're an IRL friend, that's a bit easier. If they're an international online friend, then see if they can get something shipped to you. Now, that can be complicated. As if you're watching this, chances are the people in your living environment don't know yet. You can assess for yourself how easily you can hide a package. You can also get PO boxes and that kind of thing, or that kind of thing, you know? So, the first priority is to have that person you trust, to talk to that person, and to have conversations where you're seen as yourself. Okay? And I think the next most important thing is to give some girls' clothes a try. If you haven't already. Just give it a go. You know? Just do what works for you. Just do what makes you happy. You know? Like, I actually still have the photo of this, but I remember the day I got to try on some clothes at my friend's house. And those experiences trying on the clothes, magical. Completely magical. That gave me like a sign that things will work out. You know? That feeling that there was a future. There is a future. There always will be a future. I think getting the dress up can really remind us of that. So, to the best of your ability, try to get access to some girls' clothes, maybe some makeup too. And, of course, I'm going to talk about it in a sec, but wigs. Oh, wigs are magical. If you are intending to buy some clothes on the internet and you're unsure what kind of clothes to buy or what certain clothes are even called, I do have a video that describes exactly just that. And I hope that helps. Feel free to check that out if that interests you. That interests you. I think I said that weird. Anyway. So, now that you've told a friend, you've tried on some clothes, I highly recommend wigs. I love wigs. Early in my transition, I wore so many wigs. I think I owned like 6. Low key, I was kind of obsessed. The reason wigs are really good is chances are your hair might not be the shape or length you want it to be. If you're able to style your real life hair into a girly hairstyle, then that's great. I recommend doing that. If you're not in a position to do that, though, I recommend wigs. They're really fun, actually. It can be really nice to kind of peer into the future and see what we might look like someday. There's a photo I have of me wearing a brown wig when I was like 14, 13, probably younger. And that photo kind of just looks like me now. And that's kind of cool. I'm really happy about that, you know? So, I think that is important. So, that's the presentation kind of stuff. Let's talk about the things you can do transition-wise that do not involve HRT or hormone replacement therapy. Because chances are it might be a bit before you get access to such a thing. You might not be in a position to get it. Definitely check the requirements in your country, because they'll be very different. Definitely check the requirements within your country to figure out when and where you can do it. Everywhere's different, after all. I know in Australia, once you're 18, you can get it pretty easily. But as a teenager, it's a bit more complicated, but definitely doable. The complicated part for teenagers is you need like your parents to sign a thing. And chances are if you're watching this, they might not do that. And if that's the case, don't worry, I've been there. I've really been there. Yeah, I tried to get blockers so many times, but my parents kept saying no. But at least I'm on hormones now. And if you want hormones, you'll get to it. Promise. But there are things you can do before that. Even you can start right now, in a way. So, here's the deal. Here's how it works. With, what's the word? I lost my train of thought. Oh no. Look, with, transitioning without HRT, a really cool thing you can do is laser hair removal. Check the requirements, of course, where you are, but there's lots of laser hair clinics, and I'd say a lot of them are pretty trans accepting. You won't be the first trans person there, probably. From my understanding, I think you also have to be 18 to do this. I could be wrong. But if you're unable to get laser hair removal, which all that does is do a little zappy, and it'll make your facial hair grow like less fast, I guess. It'll be a lot slower. and it'll slowly like become harder to see, so you'll be able to not have to worry about shaving as often. But if you're unable to do that right now, luckily, there's something you can get. That's just regular shaving. You can shave your legs, your arms, your body, whatever you want. And what you'll need, and you can sneakily buy this at a local store, and it won't look suspicious because you can use these products to shave your face. So no one at the counter will question it in any capacity. Okay? You'll want shaving cream and you'll want some razors. There is no real difference between women's razors and men's razors. It's kind of just a conspiracy kind of thing. You don't have to worry about it. They do the same thing. They're just as effective. You'll get results even if the packaging is really dysphoric. Like I think I still use guy razors because it's just a bit cheaper. But thanks to laser hair removal, I don't have to do it as often. Blessed. So, the other thing that you can do before HRT is voice training. And I won't say the specifics here, but I have a couple of videos about voice training on YouTube. They're a bit different than these kind of videos. They're like super edited with explosions and stuff. So those are helpful. With voice training, you can really affirm your gender just through your voice. So when you're talking to friends online, you can feel like yourself. And don't worry if you're still not telling the people around you.
You can swap voices when you do voice training. It's being able to swap back and forth between the voice is not the hard part.
The hard part's learning the voice to begin with, but with practice, anything's possible. Okay?
Even if your voice is a bit lower, like this, or even lower, you can still do it.
I feel like I used to be a bit better at doing that voice. Oh well. The point is, voice training is very useful. Promise. Alright. You got some cute clothes. You have done laser hair. You've done voice training. You've told a friend. So, how do you tell everyone? That's the hard part. You decide when you come out, per se. It can be hard. Some people wait till they're already medically transitioned. Some people do it straight away. Depends what you want to do. Okay? If you're still in school, that can be a bit complicated because all eyes are on you in school and that kind of thing. They'll probably have better luck than me. I got sent to a principal's office for asking a teacher to use my pronouns. That was awkward. So you'll probably do a better job than me. The world's gotten a bit better for that kind of thing. Depends where you are, of course. But generally speaking, the way to tell everyone is to build up that confidence for everything else we did. To be able to tell the world who you are. You don't have to do it dramatically. You don't have to do some dramatic Facebook post. Not that basically anyone uses Facebook now. I just use it to talk to my mum. But you get the picture. Coming out isn't easy. Coming out is really, really hard. And sometimes you have to come out a couple of times. In a way, you never stop coming out. even now, I know I'm very openly transgender on the internet, but in my day to day, I'm very stealth. I live as any other cis girl. And when I tell people, it feels like coming out all over again. It gets easier, but it's a little exhausting, I must confess. But just know the hardest time is the first time. Some people are stubborn, and it takes a couple of times before they acknowledge you. But you'll get there, okay? Just be true to yourself. That's all you have to be. You just gotta do what makes you happy. As I always say, if you like skirts, that's okay. Yeah, you can do what you want. I admit, currently, on YouTube at least, the amount of comments I've gotten has ballooned quite a lot. It's been kind of crazy. But I hope this little video helps get you started with transition. This isn't everything, not even close. But it's just a way to get started. It's okay if it takes a year or two or even more to do these things, but be true to yourself. Okay? If you have any questions about ways to transition, please leave a comment and I'll try to make sure I reply to it. I want to help people because when I transitioned, I didn't receive any help. It's kind of a be what you want to see in the world kind of thing for me, I guess. Maybe if I make someone else's transition better, I'll feel a bit better about mine. Yeah. Well, maybe I'll save those thoughts for another video, but for anyone that enjoyed this, I encourage you to subscribe for more trans content. If you're on YouTube at least, if you're on another certain website, feel free to follow. Yeah, that's the tutorial. I hope that helped. And if you experience that moment of trans joy where you start to see the person that you always felt you were, let me know. I'll always remember the moment I wore a cute outfit and twirled in front of a mirror. I think in that moment I was the happiest person in the world. I've learned a lot since then, and I want to share what I learned. This channel has resulted in me speaking a bit vulnerably, but I think that's important. I think the best way to heal myself is to make someone else's transition go better. I have a video about my entire transition story, if you happen to want to hear that. Well, it's time for me to go, but remember, I am proud of you, okay? No matter what stage you're at. Stay hydrated and know that you are valid.